You will see things in the sky that defy human imagination.
I was very skeptical.
It just doesn't compute.
I can only tell you that it works.
There is no devil in witchcraft. That concept of evil is actually a Christian concept.
From the boundaries of the universe to the depth of your soul. Embark on a journey through the unknown and unexplained as we explore mysteries, magic, and miracles. Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick McNee. Throughout the course of this series, we will investigate the secrets of the universe, the mysteries of the earth, and the miracles occurring before us. You can decide for yourself what you believe. On a starry night, you see beautiful spheres of light flashing across the horizon, defying all earthly logic. You're not alone, since many have witnessed this very same experience. The question, however, is, are we alone?
UFOs had been visiting the planet Earth before recorded history. And this goes clear back beyond even the Old Testament, which is dated by Archbishop Usher as 4000 BC.
The modern UFO phenomenon, or should I say the modern UFO wave, began in February of 1942 with an incident called the Battle of Los Angeles, in which a UFO actually parked itself over the city of Culver City for a period of several hours, and a photograph of this object actually appeared on the front page of the Los Angeles Times and the Wall Street Journal at that time. And then, of course, the later incidences began to occur with the crash of what we believe to be extraterrestrial saucers outside of Roswell, New Mexico, and then the famous sighting of Kenneth Arnold over Mount Rainier, who coined the term flying saucers, which is where we get the term flying saucers today.
UFO sightings have taken place over major cities and in full view of many, many people. For instance, the one that was taken over San Francisco, California. We have pictures of UFOs that were taken in formation, if you please, over Washington, D.C. And then there were some over Baltimore. There were some over Miami, Florida. Some over Chicago. Some over New York City, seen by many, many people. Only these particular sightings, for some reason, did not make the front pages.
Since the sightings in Mexico City began, we have actually had more mass sightings by more people. A pair of rather large flying saucers actually parked themselves over Mexico City, were videotaped from hundreds of different locations, and were witnessed by close to 27 million people. Gulf Breeze, Florida is particularly hot right now. Fife, Alabama. There are areas in Wisconsin which are very, very rife with activity. Just recently in the media, there have been places in Michigan, along the lakes there, along Lake Michigan, on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan, in which there's been a mass amount of activity. For many years, there was activity at a place called Area 51, which I personally had blown the lid off of and investigated, and I believe a lot of that was military activity, and I believe it was moved in the early part of 1994.
One of the hot spots on the desert as far as UFO communication and landings and sightings are concerned seem to be the high desert area in Giant Rock right near Yucca Valley. That seems to be a place where people congregate by the hundreds, and they do see some strange things out there. Another place is on the edge, which is called the Mailbox area of Area 51, not too far from Las Vegas, Nevada. You will see things in the sky that defy human imagination.
By about 1986, 87 or so, there started to be some very unusual things that were spotted around that area, which led us as researchers to begin to investigate this wave of UFO activity. And it got to the point of where I could take a group of people out there, and we would camp out by the fence just on the other side of the border of Area 51 and basically see flying saucers, flying virtually on a timetable basis every Wednesday night from about 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m., or whenever the sun would set until about 9:30 or so, and then starting up again about 4:45 a.m. Thursday morning the next morning.
In the files of the National Investigations Committee, we have quite a few reports on the famous Roswell, New Mexico sighting. Now, it appears that though this was perhaps one of the most widely acclaimed evidences of a UFO governmental secrecy and cover-up. The facts pertaining to that particular sighting are so uncanny because you had witness after witness after witness after witness attesting to one particular story, and the Air Force investigators and the press following the Air Force investigators more so than the individual witnesses concocted a story that it was nothing but a collapsed weather balloon. Following the rules of evidence, there is no doubt in my mind nor in the minds of any individual with an ounce of brain who reads the report exactly as it happened as opposed to the report of the cover-up. There was a crashed UFO on the outskirts of Roswell, New Mexico.
What exactly constitutes proof? I mean, nothing counts. Photographs, they claim, can now be faked. And of course, we're talking about photographs that date all the way back to the 1940s or so. And they say, so photographic evidence can be easily faked, so that doesn't count. Eyewitness testimony doesn't count, even though the eyewitness testimony comes from presidents, popes, prime ministers, generals, police officers, individual that we trust with our very lives, firemen, et cetera, but their testimony doesn't count. Videotape doesn't count, simply because, you know, it is supposedly that too can be faked. Film doesn't count. Top secret government documents don't count because they can all be forged. So my challenge to them is what exactly counts as proof? If you wanted to prove the existence of UFOs in a court of law, it could be done relatively simply. But the fact is that you have the various UFO debunkers who would much rather attack the reputations of the people who saw something rather than actually dealing with the evidence.
You can go out to the desert or out to any place that's completely void of the bright lights of any given city, and you choose yourself a certain frame within that framework and look at the sky and keep watching the sky, you will invariably see strange lights. By strange, I mean multicolored lights, and they'll move sometimes in a zigzag formation, sometimes in a straight line, and they're not stars, and they're not satellites, because satellites have an established pattern, and so do stars, unless they're falling stars. But usually out in the desert area, you can choose and watch, and something up there out of the ordinary will occur.
The Akashic records. Now, they're the master records of everything that has occurred in the universe. The records exist for souls to examine their spiritual progress through many lifetimes. American medium Edgar Cayce drew from the Akashic records to give advice on healing. He described the path to the Akashic records as an out-of-body experience where the spirit separates and proceeds down a tunnel of light that opens into a library with unlimited volumes. George Bernard Shaw once said, "A sound body is the product of a sound mind." The ancient art of Chinese healing called Qigong is known to promote longevity through the use of Qi, the body's powerful life force. Ailments, injuries, and disease can be healed either by a trained master or yourself. Qigong may be the oldest approach to healing, but we have only begun to discover its miraculous ability to restore health. Mystical healing puzzles us because there is no medicine, no x-rays, and no surgery. Chinese Qigong is one form that has cured such illnesses as high blood pressure, digestive problems, obesity, and some kinds of cancer.
I've been here 4 months, and after that, I just have never had to take medication. And I'm on medication for my headaches, and that's how severe it is.
So I was very skeptical, but nevertheless, it does work.
My stomach and my kidneys were not working very good. So he's making some energy to fix it because I've been trying with different doctors and nothing had worked before.
I receive a special treatment for a long time, my energy is much stronger. I can send them to support other people. Yeah, this we call Qigong.
Originating in China, Qigong exercises were first recorded on tablets dating from the Zhou dynasty 3,000 years ago. Qigong means breathing exercise. Qi also refers to the body's energy. If there is a deficiency in your Qi, you will be unhealthy. Through the art of Qigong, you can remedy any deficiencies and bring your Qi under control. Many times, Qigong is combined with other forms of healing, such as herbs and acupuncture. Since Qigong is no longer found only in China, you can get the necessary herbs in America's Chinatowns. Depending on the properties and curative effects, different herbs and plants are used.
When a person is sick, their Qi is weak, is not that much strong. Qi just can help the blood circulation inside the body. Yeah.
Your body carries Qi. You have Qi. That's what helps you live. That's part of your living energy. And without it, you're not alive.
I came here for an injury in my neck and my left rotor in my shoulder from a car accident where a drunk driver hit me. It's something that I guess through the decades of training that Master Wong has received, he gives you some form of energy for specific problems. Other than that, I really don't know that much about it, and I really don't care. I can only tell you that it works.
It's almost like witchcraft or magic, but being brought up in Taiwan, it's part of our heritage. It's part of our beliefs that your body carries Qi.
How does Qigong work? This healer will amaze you.
You can feel it. It's not moving air, but you feel the energies. The closest thing would be a strong wind, except no moving air, that would push you down.
Master Wong from the Chinese Taoist Health Association can use his Qi to push students from a sitting to a laying down position. He places a cup on each person, which acts as an energy battery. He envelops the students with his Qi to support theirs and keeps both the strong and weak Qi from mixing. The students are completely relaxed and feel a warm, tingling sensation throughout their limbs and torso. Their breathing is shallow, their heart beats strong, and some even see colors while their eyes are closed.
They're lying here just like sleeping, but it's different from sleep. Their brain was covered by the special energy, and their soul is quite clear. What we talk, they can hear about everything. They know everything, but they cannot move.
After a 45-minute session, Master Wong removes his Qi that's been covering the students, allowing them to rise. Their vision and thinking is also clear and powerful.
I feel relaxing, and I have clear mind, and the Qi goes inside, feel really good.
Now, if you're doing this way, put your both hands together and face each other and move around, you will find the energy of your body, your both hands becomes a little cool or tingly or warm, just some special energy between your both hands. You can feel, everybody can feel this way.
I'm an engineer, and it just doesn't compute in a scientific term, but it's mythical and it's real.
The witches from Shakespeare's Macbeth, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Samantha from the TV series Bewitched are images of some witches that have persisted through the ages. But real witches dispel these myths and have historically shown us the religious truth behind their faith.
There's a lot of curiosity and just as much misinformation about the whole idea of witches and witchcraft. Well, to explain the myth and explore the mystery, we came here to where it all began in America in the 17th century, Salem, Massachusetts.
In the 17th century, the definition of witchcraft, or being a witch, meant that you had made a pact with the devil. They very much believed in the existence of the devil in the 17th century. The pact would have meant that you would give the devil your soul, and in exchange you would get magic, evil powers with which you could torment other people. That's the 17th century definition. Then, of course, there's the popular witch image, which we see a lot of at Halloween. That comes down through probably European culture. You think of Hansel and Gretel and the wicked witch out in the forest, the old woman who was going to bake them in her oven, the wicked witch in The Wizard of Oz, all that imagery. Then there's a third meaning, and this one is, of course, a very different kind of one. There are people who practice witchcraft today, and they date their religion back to ancient times. It is a very different kind of belief than the 17th century definition, and they want to make very sure that people understand that they do not have an entity of evil in their religion, but in fact worship nature and a goddess. They're very peaceful, very benign people.
Witchcraft is a religion that is earth-based, which means that it's a religion that works in harmony with the natural forces. It's an honoring of Mother Nature.
The fundamental belief is in the duality of the Godhead, that we believe in a God and goddess. Within that form, it is the feminine and masculine principle within ourselves.
The church during the early years, 11th through 17th centuries especially, there was really a lot of propaganda confusing what is the God in nature and in witchcraft. The pagan god, who is another name for him is Pan, you know, the guy with playing the flute and dancing around, and they made him into the Christian idea of the devil so that God could have an adversary. There is no devil in witchcraft, and there never has been. That concept of evil is actually a Christian concept.
One of our creeds or credos is do what thou wilt, let it harm none, and also beware of the threefold law. It will come back in a return, as well as positive things. So that is a good check and balance, I believe.
The word Wicca or witchcraft comes from wicker. It means to bend or to shape, and it's about bending and shaping the realities that we can change. The negative propaganda against Wiccans has really translated into our fear of wearing our sacred symbols, especially the pentacle, the five-pointed star with the circle around it, which embodies earth, water, fire, air, and spirit, which is the microcosm of the universe. It is also a symbol of protection and reminds us of the web of life, the way everything is interconnected.
Witches will practice two ways, well, actually three ways. With robes, without robes, or in street clothes. To make the sanctity of the ritual that much more important, we reserve the robe for the magical rite.
We celebrate in circles as opposed to in rows of people sitting and watching someone perform a ceremony. It's very participatory, it's very personal, and everyone who is a part of ceremony contributes to ceremony. Well, we worship in small groups. As opposed to occasionally there's larger celebrations, but usually it's a smaller group. And you know, the traditional coven number is 13, and it's a small group, so you can really get to know people and really work together out of really getting to know each other over time. It's celebrations of the calendar of life, which is the agricultural calendar. The solstices, the equinoxes, the cross-quarter days.
You have several celebrations in a year, right?
Oh, yes, we have 8. We have 8 altogether. The one coming up is the fall equinox, and right after that will be Samhain, or Halloween is the more popular name for it. And these are agricultural holidays. These are the holidays of the farmer's year. And we also have lunar celebrations, full moon, dark moon, new moon celebrations, in addition to personal ceremony for rites of passage, for passages like birth and menopause and menstruation and death. I feel like I have special powers that I've nurtured. I think a general feeling with witches in general is that everyone has these so-called special powers, that they are natural to every person. It's a question of developing them and acknowledging them and learning how to use them for the benefit of yourself and others. Healing abilities, a lot of it is a development of empathy and compassion, which are and intuition, which are certainly traits that everyone has available to them.
In many cultures, the evil eye is thought to bring misfortune and even death to those in its path. Evil sorcerers can cast the penetrating gaze, but others may have the inborn ability to use it and not even realize it. The evil eye strikes upon those who are at their peak of prosperity and happiness. If you fear the evil eye, you must immediately clench your hand with the thumb through the middle and fourth fingers. This is guaranteed to ward off the evil curse. Open your mind to the possibilities that life's greatest mysteries lie before us. We need to look, but also see. A wise man once said that it requires a very unusual mind to undertake the analysis of the obvious. I'm Patrick McNee. Join us next time for more mysteries, magic, and miracles.